I am Juan Fernandez from the Película Puerto Rico. Hey, Ethan, thank you so much for taking the time to talk about the wonderful Wicked. And last night I saw it at an IMAX and it was a packed house and people were clapping like it
Oh,
was,
wow.
you know what I mean? Like after every number, people would just clap. And I kind of wanted to ask you if you guys, because you've been on Broadway, the movie is like the perfect balance between an old classic grand movie musical from the 30s and 40s, but it also has
Mm.
that buoyancy of what you get when you actually go to a stage show. So did you guys feel that on set, that it was sort of a perfect balance between the two?
Yeah, in some ways, but I mean, a lot of that it has to do with some of what feels like the old school movie magic has to do with the practical sets and the way that we made it, and sort of the care that was and attention that was paid to the process of making it. So on set, being on the yellow brick road and seeing these everything that was practically built and getting to like feel it with your, your whole body and your whole sense of self, like that felt like really special in the moment. But then the way that it was put together, something that I found really funny is that, the first time I watched it, it was just like three of us sitting in a room watching it. Of course, no one was applauding after the numbers. And I remember having the thought, like, I don't know if that's going to totally ruin the flow. What happens if people applaud? I hope they thought about that. And then when we went to the first premiere in Sydney, Australia, and the entire theater like erupted in applause. There was like standing ovations after numbers. It felt like a Broadway house, and yet somehow it didn't interrupt the flow too much. It's like still
Yeah, it was
worked. There was
perfect. It was perfect. Yeah.
it was beautiful, and I think there was something about that. I don't know how they did it, honestly. Myron, the editor, and John Chu, who directed it. I don't know how they crafted it like that, but it does feel like the best of both worlds in that way.
You also mentioned that because of the practicality and being on the set and wearing the clothes and not having to sort of fill in the blanks with like, movie magic helped you with the performance.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that, please.
I think one of the really fun things about acting is, using your imagination. But that is something that you have to like put a lot of work into. If you're talking to a ball on a stick, you have to put a lot of work into that. Um, and it's an amazing skill. But it's a different kind of skill than walking into a classroom that is a full classroom, opening a book. There's words in the book, and all you have to do is kind of exist in that moment. I think there is in a fantasy world like this one, and like there's a big world building thing of Oz, you would imagine that the actors would have to do a lot of imaginative work to create the space around them. But we were able to perform as though it were, you know, a movie set on the streets of New York City and everything is already around you. And the cab comes by when you're in a shot in the middle of the crossing the sidewalk and you say, I'm walking here, like everything is there for you already. You don't have to create it. And so it just allows you to sort of sit in it and be those characters in a way that I think is a real I don't know, privilege or something. I've used the word privilege a lot, but I do think this experience has been a privilege.
And it's a privilege to get to watch it. I mean, you guys did a fantastic job. So I know you guys are not meant to judge your character as actors. Well,
Yeah.
what we see with Bach in this one, is it hard because you sort of feel for him because he's truly enchanted by Glinda, but you know that that's not going to work out. So I wonder, were you able to disassociate yourself so you could sort of play him the way that you do?
That's a good question. Yeah, it's really important that you love your character and you not judge them too much. And I think I've never judged Bach. He's loving hard, um, and it's not necessarily the most successful attempts, but I think it leads him to a really beautiful place in this movie. So I think he's leading with good intentions, and I empathize with him. I really love Bach. I try not to judge him too much.
All right. So my time is up. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.